So good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's live. So I'm going to get started because I know it's bank holiday weekend and you all might have plans to go out for the day or go off for the weekend somewhere. So today, especially based on this week's challenge, which was a push-up challenge, and some of you might be thinking, why do I don't particularly want to do a push-up. I don't feel any need, or even the same with pull-ups, which obviously are an even more difficult progression. Why do I want to do that? That's not really that important. And even when you're doing lunges, kind of thinking perhaps, well, I don't really do this exact thing in everyday life. But these movements are very important. And so today I want to talk about these things that kind of underpin everything we do in life. So it's not like a sweaty workout session, it's more of a kind of mindset and sort of very gentle movement session where I'm going to take you through the 6 movement patterns that we do in strength training and talk a little bit about why we do them, like how they show up in everyday life, how they relate to what we do in everyday life, why they sometimes get a little bit harder as we age, and how you can start to build your strength back to do them, even if, as some of you definitely did before you started with me, you feel like you can't actually fully do them properly, you feel stiff, you feel tired, you perhaps feel a little bit of pain even while you do them, and you're really quite unsure where to start, or maybe even quite scared to start doing them in the first place. So today we're going to be talking about how it's like fitness is not perfection. Basically, it's not about doing every move perfectly. So you can just listen, watch, and then perhaps when I get up and I go through some of those movements, you can perhaps get up and join in so you can really feel what I mean. So we're going to start off talking about what we call the 6 foundational functional movement patterns. And they are like natural movements actually that your body is designed to do. It might seem like we're doing them a bit more kind of in a bit more of a military style when we're kind of squatting up and down and lunging side to side, but they really do mirror everyday actions. So you've got your squat, which is quite an obvious one, really. That's going to maybe be sitting down, standing up, getting on and off of a chair. So I'm going to just get up, actually. I'm going to do things so I can show you. So obviously, if you're sitting down onto a chair, that's your squat. Okay, you've got your hinge, which I always tell you to try and initiate by, instead of kind of rounding down like this, which can hurt our back, you push your bottom back to initiate that hinge, picking something off the floor, pushing up through your knees. And this is really just picking down, putting something up, perhaps lifting something up as well. And if you learn to naturally employ that kind of hinge pattern that we do in that, when you translate that move to everyday life, that does help prevent injury, because everybody knows really that you're not meant to kind of pull something off the floor like this. You've got your lunge, which could just be really stepping forward, stepping up, or if you're sitting down on the floor, if you want to get up, you might kind of push up like this. So you're really pushing up through that lunge pattern. We've got the push pattern, which could be like pushing a door open. We've got pull, which could just be something as simple as kind of opening cupboards. It could be carrying shopping bags. Now, carrying might not feel like a pull, but it is engaging those same muscles that we are strengthening when we're doing our pull action. You're strengthening your back muscles. Whenever we're doing like a pull down, like a horizontal, like a bent over row, that's a pull. Or if you're doing a pull up, whichever way you're doing it, you're engaging these back muscles, and that translates to a kind of carry in everyday life, carrying heavy bags. And then we've got twisting. Okay, so we might be doing like dumbbell chops or something like that. So that's just kind of, it could be anything. That could be reaching, that could be getting something out of the cupboard. We rarely just move up and down, like side to side like a robot. So hopefully that kind of helps you see how, specifically relating back to the push-ups, which we did for this week's challenge, how they translate to giving you back, perhaps, or giving you even better strength to perform those very functional movements every day without pain or with reduced pain at least, and reduced risk of injury. So when we train these in our workouts, we're not just exercising, we are practicing life, basically. We are making our body more robust and stronger in order to perform those everyday movements in life with independence, pain-free, with less risk of injury and falls as we get older. So like as I've just said, so it's very much linked to like independence, aging well, and just having the confidence in your movements as well, like not being scared to kind of like lift something up off the floor, not being scared to pick up your grandkids, so they can help us stay mobile and independent. Again, reduce the risk of falls, carry your groceries, carry your grandkids perhaps, and just really feel confident in your body again. Because you know, at the end of the day, we joke, don't we? Like, oh my God, I'm 40 now, I'm 45, I'm whatever, I'm really old. But actually, we're not very old. And if we're feeling kind of pain moving around now, which is exactly where I was myself. I'd had my son, I was only 40. And I just started getting lower back pain all the time. I was so stiff, I felt really weak, my balance had gone. And you know, if you feel like that at 40 and you don't do anything about it, what are you going to feel like at 50, at 60, at 70? You're only going to get weaker and stiffer and less mobile. So that was really kind of what kicked off my personal journey towards getting back in shape again, and then actually taking up my PT studies. Now, obviously, not all of you want to do that, but I think slowly we're all coming to the same realization, is that yes, it'd be nice to also lose a few kilos and look kind of nice and toned again, but actually the deeper why behind it is way more important than that. So I wanted to look now at a few kind of roadblocks and fears, which obviously if you're here with me now, you've probably gone past those a little bit, but you still might be at the beginning of your journey. Maybe you're still a little bit worried about doing some of the moves. So I quite commonly hear, you know, my knees are stiff and sore, my back hurts, I can't do squats, I can't do push-ups. And that is obviously totally valid, and it might be very difficult at first, and we might need to find some workarounds and find some alternatives for you to do. But the truth is, you don't have to do it perfectly from the get-go to begin with. You just need to start trying, start moving with purpose. We can always modify, we can always regress, which hopefully is what I do try and do. I always do try and do that in my videos, talk you through things that you can do instead, encourage you to move within your range that you feel comfortable in at the moment, not to push through pain, and to reach out to me if you really do need something that you know, there is something that is particularly uncomfortable at the moment. We can find something else that you can do that is either a regressed or modified version that will help you build the strength to move towards doing the full version eventually, which is exactly, again, coming back to this week's challenge, exactly what we were doing with the push-ups. So yeah, you just have to build the habit of movement into your days. And these are very, like, you know, I obviously try and mix up the workouts and the moves a little bit to keep it interesting. And I do try and do lots of combination moves, which will combine those movement patterns together to keep it interesting. But essentially, we do just want to keep repeating those movements over and over again, gradually adding more resistance, either with weight or complexity, to get your body performing them in a really good way. So just remember, you're not behind, you are building. And it doesn't matter where you are in your journey, there's always going to be someone in front of you, there's always going to be someone behind you, like anything in life, really. So let's just practice these gentle movement patterns again. So we're going to get up again. If you didn't do them with me before, let's just have a little mini practice now. So if you are finding the squats hard, I'll keep bringing my chair back. You can always use a chair behind you, and you are literally, so your squat is just sitting down, like just touching the chair with your bottom and coming back up, touching the chair and coming back up. Okay, you can have it there for support, so you can do your chair assisted squat if you're quite early on in your journey, just so you're just aiming to put that bottom down on there, and that just encourages you to do it in the right way. Now, to practice your hinge, oh, I'm back. So let me move this around a little bit. To practice your hinge pattern, again, so what I say to do, you can have your hands on your thighs to begin with, just to practice. Come back a little bit. So I always say, initiate the movement with your bottom. So rather than thinking I'm bending forward, you're not bending forward, you're hinging forward. So you initiate it with your bottom. So if you don't remember anything else, just remember bottom first. Bottom. Bottom goes back first. That is what initiates that movement. Pushing back, 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 back with your bottom. You should feel your legs go slightly back and your hands can come down your thighs to help you kind of get that really good hinging movement. And it's harder than you'd think. I work with quite a lot of people now who have found this. We've spent quite a lot of time just really nailing this movement pattern. So hands on your thighs, push the bottom back, and also keep your chin up. So bottom back, chin up. So that if you lift your chin, that naturally helps keep your back nice and straight, rather than if you're looking down, it also makes it harder to balance, and it can mean you start rounding. If you keep your chin up as well, immediately makes it easier. So I might share a really funny video I found later about that movement. Anyway, so your lunge, okay, that is either a static lunge, you can just split your stance. This can be your beginner's version. You can just you do need a nice wide stance so that when you come down, this knee is not coming in. You need room for that knee to come down to a nice, if you went full range 90-degree angle, you can see that 90-90. But you don't need to start coming all the way down here, and your knee doesn't need to touch the floor. If you're just starting here, okay, that's fine. You can even just do step backs with that slight bend in your knee. You can see it's still the same movement pattern. Okay, so even if you're just doing this, or perhaps you're even stepping forward and stepping back, okay, you can see your legs are still doing that same kind of bend. So your push, sorry, I have just got some notes here to prompt me, because I'm not that great at remembering things anymore. So our push is, I think, as I said in my regression, your most regressed version is your wall push-up. Okay, for this, you want this nice 90-degree angle here. If this is a bit hard on your wrists, bent back, you can come onto your fists or just even your fingertips. Okay, but you just want to maintain that nice 90-degree angle. The closer you are, the easier it's going to be. And with this, your hips shouldn't be sagging down and your bottom shouldn't be too much in the air. You're nice and straight, okay? The further you come out, the harder it will be, and you will need to slightly adjust your hands down as you come out. But what you should be trying to do is get full range of movement, as we say, which is coming down, which just means you're not just coming to here and up, you're coming all the way down. Touch your forehead or your nose. You can come up on your toes, okay, because that's stretching out the backs of my legs quite a lot. So that is your push. Your row is just anything where you're pulling. We can use a towel. We started with a towel, if you remember back. We just squeezed, and it was almost like a little isometric hold, which means there's not much movement. So that is any kind of pull, like this, if you want to get really ambitious with a pull-up. But we are mostly doing either bent over rows or sort of chair-assisted single arm rows at the moment, again, where you kind of hinged forward slightly with a nice straight back and you are pulling. Now, your twist could be as simple as going side to side like this, but you will see as we advance, we start doing what are called dumbbell choppers, wood choppers, which is coming down like this. You're weighting it up, but you can equally just do anything like this, anything like this, is all twisting, okay? You don't have to go deep, you don't have to go fast, you just have to be consistent, keep at it, keep doing it, and eventually you will start going further, going deeper into your lunges, deeper into your squats, being able to add more weight, doing it with better and better form, which I'm already seeing with a lot of you, which is fantastic. So you just have to go slowly, really, you don't have, sometimes I go quite fast in the workouts, obviously you want to try and push you, but you always go at your own pace. Like, as I say, I think in the workouts, you do you, basically, and that is it. So the next time you see a squat or a push-up in the program, remember you are not just exercising, you're not just doing it so that you can just go, oh, I can do like 10 push-ups. Although to be fair, I'm not gonna lie, I quite like that. I like that feeling of being, I'm a bit of a badass. I can do 10 now. Most people can't do 10. So, that's valid as well. But remember, that's not what it's all about. You are preparing your body to live well and to feel great and be doing it pain-free. So your challenge next week is going to be to pick one of these patterns that you've been finding hard each day and do 5 reps of it a couple of times a day. So that could be wall sits or sits to stand. It could be rows. It could be push-ups again. It could be something else. So I will remind you of that in the group for next week. So message me or share in the group which movement pattern you find most challenging and which one you're going to focus on next week. Again, I'll prompt you. I know it's bank holiday weekend. I will prompt you again for this on Monday. And remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to happen. So I'm going to give you a little printout as well, just that reminds you of the 5 movement patterns. And sort of going through this as well, something else that I've heard a lot from my business mentor and from other quotes that I've seen, you see it all the time online, and it just applies to everything. It applies to, your work, any other goals you might be working on, and definitely to fitness as well, is that in order to be successful, in order to succeed, you just have to do what most other people don't, and that is carry on. Just keep going. It really is that simple, and that is something that I'm finding super helpful at the moment in various things that I'm doing in my own life. So yeah, I just think that that's quite a nice quote to end on. So I hope you enjoyed this week's live. I'm going to stay on for a few minutes for those of you that are on, in case you want to ask me some questions. If not, enjoy the bank holiday. Don't worry too much about doing everything perfectly over the bank holiday, or even if you miss your workouts. Just get back on track next week and get back on track with that new challenge.